Sorry, Frank, I can't make this trip with you. So, first of all, happy Thanksgiving. It had been my intent to have this video be a review, if not the entirety of The Punisher, at the very least the first half, 6 or so episodes of the Netflix series, and then, pick up with the latter half once I saw the whole thing, as I've done with the last few sort of Netflix-y shows. It's what I did with Iron Fist and Defenders and season 2 of Stranger Things and so forth, but I'm not gonna. Because I don't think I'm going to finish this thing. And that's a first for me. And I don't know. It's an odd enough experience. I kind of want to explain why. The first thing I will say is The Punisher is not awful. It's not even really bad. It's certainly not the worst Netflix show that Marvel has put out. It's miles better than Iron Fist, which is still the low point. But I was still able to get through Iron Fist. And here's the reason why. I did not enjoy Iron Fist. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt for the first few episodes, but by the 4th episode, I was realizing how bad this was and that it was probably going to get worse. And it made me angry. The thing about anger is, though, anger can be energizing. And through sheer force of spite, I was able to power through that show, basically just to justify screaming about it afterwards. So, anger, even to some degrees, disappointment can be energizing. It can get you worked up. It can get you fired up. But you know what doesn't? Indifference. Boredom. 4 episodes into Punisher, I am bored. Like, really bored. It's almost impossible for me to focus on this show and not reach for my phone. And I don't think I have it in me to power through this. I could maybe make myself do it, and if I was in a position where I made my living doing this, maybe I could even justify it, but I don't. So when I'm as unengaged as I am with The Punisher, I can't. No, that's hours I'm not gonna get back. And as I said, I appreciate the channel growth and everything else, but until I make a living off this, there's a limit to how much I'm prepared to force myself to watch just because I think I'm supposed to. Now, this is actually going to mark the first Marvel property that I've bailed early on. I think the only other one would be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I did 2.5 seasons before I bailed on that, and even then it wasn't a decision, I'm done watching that. I just faded on it and then didn't catch up again. So this case of I'm making the decision that I'm going to do something else, it's a first. And I guess as by way of kind of a pseudo review-ish thing of the first 4 episodes, John Barenthal, he's good in the part. And there are good moments. In fact, the very first episode, pre-title sequence up through the credits, is awesome. It's really good, and he's killing the guy in the bathroom stall, and he shoots a guy across the Mexican border. Yes! It starts off with that, but then when I actually sat down and cataloged how many seriously plot-relevant things had gone on in the first 4 episodes, there was maybe an episode and a half worth of actual plot that had happened in 4 episodes. This thing feels so dragged out. And that's a criticism I've heard leveled at some of the Netflix shows that aren't The Defenders before. And again, I have issues with The Defenders, but because they kept it to 8 episodes, it was breezy at least. So, and like I said, I've heard this criticism of other Netflix shows before. They drag it out 13 episodes. I'm not going to necessarily say that's not true. But all the other cases, what I ended up feeling was like there was 1 or 2 specific episodes where I felt that, where I felt like there wasn't much to this. This is the filler episode. This is the padding episode. It's like 11 and about the first half of 12 of Jessica Jones are very much that. So, you know, there's been things like that. But this was the first case where I felt like the padding has been stretched out across the season. And again, I understand. I only saw the first 4 episodes. I saw basically a quarter of the show. And so maybe it gets better after this. But, you know, 4 episodes paced the way this thing is paced, doing stuff that isn't interesting or exciting or unexpected. And maybe that's the big thing, is that there's nothing that's surprising me about this. I mean, for God's sake, it takes him basically 3 episodes to get on board with Micro. Micro was set up at the end of Daredevil season 2. Why did that take that long? And I know you can make an argument for, you know, a more deliberately paced thing. You know, take your time, have some character beats, go a little bit more methodical. And I'm not against that as an approach. I mean, that was very much the approach of Blade Runner 2049, and I enjoyed that movie for the most part. But this is the Punisher. And you opened with the visceral, violence that the Punisher is good for. And then you just stop doing that. You drop it and you go slow and quiet and methodical, and you watch him talk with the wife of his kind of maybe partner who he's torturing half the time. Why? Why? And again, none of it's bad. None of it's cringy. None of it made me go, oh dear God, this is so stupid, the way that stuff in Iron Fist did. But I'm just sitting there going, why are we taking time with this? Why are we tied up in this investigation for this woman, or Mandina? What? I can't even remember. That's how little impact the show is leaving on me. I can't even remember these people's names. She is wrapped up in this investigation of this thing in Kandahar, which coincidentally happened to involve Frank. And her entire plot is the very definition of a we need to add time to this story plot. I mean, there's no other reason for her to be there. I can't keep going with this. I need to stop. And you know what? Depending on reactions, comments, responses, if I get an overwhelming wave of people that I think aren't just trolling me, who tell me that it does legitimately turn around and get really, really good, get notably different from how it's been in the first 4 episodes later on down the line, maybe I'll watch the rest. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to force myself to power through it to get a review out in a timely manner the way that I have done with these things. I'm not doing that. So if I watch it at all, it's going to be spread out over time. And it honestly is probably not even going to happen. And like I said, they're just taking so much time, and they set up Billy Russo, and they drop his name early on, so I know who he's gonna be. And I haven't looked up the reviews, so I don't know if this is true, but I will bet money he does not become Jigsaw until the very end of the season. If that, I will bet you he gets taken down and supposedly killed, and it's like very end of the last episode he emerges as Jigsaw to set up the next season. That's my bet. That's what my money is on. Because that's the pacing of this whole thing. Here's the thing you want to see. Come get it. Come get it. Come get it. I'm not chasing this carrot at the end of the stick, because the road you've got me running on, chasing this thing, is boring. I don't enjoy it. It's boring. It's dull. And again, if you are enjoying The Punisher, if you like it, if you're really into it, if it's really doing it for you, wonderful. Good on you. I'm happy for you. Not me. I gotta say no. And it is a shame, because as I said, John Barenthal is good in this part. He's especially good in this interpretation of the character. It's a shame that I can't bring myself to stick with this. It's just not grabbing me. And if I were to force myself to keep watching this at this point, I would be half watching it because I wouldn't be able to stop myself just messing around on my phone the whole time. So out of respect for myself, respect for my audience, respect for my own time, I can't. So that's my rambly, not really a review explanation for why I'm probably not going to talk about The Punisher again. Thing about The Punisher. Did you see more than the first 4 episodes? Do you think I'm just wussing out? I don't know. Whatever your thoughts are, respectful, please. Drop them down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast. That is available on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher Radio. I am also one half of the Punch Like a Girl podcast. That is a presentation of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. fireandwaterpodcast.com. Links for all this stuff are down below. And until next time, this council is adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving.